So Nova Online is without doubt the most requested lolcow that I've ever got to cover. Everyone is constantly asking me to talk about this person because of... I've made my opinions on lolcows as well as lolcow channels pretty clear, and so Nova Online seems like the logical next step to this piece of the pie because he is by far, in my opinion at least, the most popular lolcow. Before I go any further though, for those watching on the Shepherd Boy channel, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just so you know, I don't live stream on this channel, I live stream on the main, Dan Kijabo, which is in the description of all these videos. However, for all the people watching on Shepherd Boy who aren't subscribed, why don't you go ahead and do that? For everyone watching the current live stream, sorry about that, just thought I'd check over your plug-in. Everyone say hello to either yourselves or whoever's watching on Shepherd Boy. Why not? Thank you so much for the $10, dude. Most evil lolcow Andrew Ditch. Okay, I'll put a note of that in. Everyone's donating now. I'm trying to intro this video, guys. Thank you so much for the 99 cents. Thank you so much for the $5. Can you wish good luck to Mexico for the World Cup? Yeah, good luck, Mexico. Unless you are either facing Egypt or... Actually, I'm not that fussed. I don't care. Good luck, Mexico. Good luck. I'm not really keeping in touch with the World Cup. However, that might make a good stream segment because of all the bollocks going on over there. Now, I'm struggling a little bit. Thank you so much for the $2, dude. I'm struggling a little bit because when we were doing our Tofiachu coverages, it was a little difficult to find a creator that was good or covered the lolcows in a manner of that was that I approved of or that I felt comfortable watching and supporting. Nova Online is very much similar. So if people could, I don't know, maybe speak up in chat, let me know what creators you think are the best ones to go for. Currently, though, I'm kind of just banking on Turkey Tom again, to be honest. Like, he just seems like he would make the best video on these people. And he's, like, the only one that doesn't have, like, 40 as well. See, I'm getting people recommend Kiwi tapes. This is the thing. Look. You've got Major Chiller, who, no, definitely not. Kiwi tapes, Vlade could be good, but it's a smaller channel. I don't know if I trust that necessarily. Let's do Kiwi tapes, but then my issue with Kiwi tapes is watch this, right? We go on the playlists. We go on Nova Online. He's got 9 videos, first of all. But then look, I'm going to play this video for 5 seconds, and you will all immediately understand why I'm not exactly too keen on watching these videos. And you can't even hear it. Probably for the best, but there you go.
Meet Nova Online.
The Nova haters have just struck on a full-on cyber war against the Nova Stars. Those are clearly effing
just from the fucking, like, just from that intro.
photoshopped. I will not.
Nova Online is a 19-year-old TikTok star with over 300,000 followers as of the making of this video.
Like, dude, I am sorry, I just can't sit through that for 9. He's got 9 videos on this bastard. I don't know if I can do that. I don't think I never has a Nova Online video. No, he doesn't. He does not have a Nova Online video. So I don't know why so many people are recommending iNava when he doesn't even have a Nova Online video. Like, are you silly, or like, what do you want me to do? Just like AI one in? Let's do a Blaze! Yes! Okay, let's do a Blaze coverage. Everyone's favorite commentary channel. I'm sure a Blaze has one, right? Does he? A Blaze Nova Online. Yes, he does. He's got a couple, in fact. Alright. It's either a Blaze or Turkey Tom. It's either a Blaze. It's either a Blaze or Turkey Tom. What do you guys think? I think we should watch Turkey Tom's first. And then, but I do want to look at a Blaze's after, just like, because I'm so curious. I love a Blaze. I think he's so funny. Alright.
Conversation went that.
We're going to go for Turkey Tom, and we're going to go for the one that he posted 2 months ago. Because it was the most, this recent one. The TikTok Discord mod files, Nova Online. Let's have a wee gander at this, eh? Now, again, I've made my thoughts on Lolcows pretty clear. Lolcow channel's pretty clear. I think that overall, generally, Lolcows have way too much hatred towards them. They get bullied an insane amount, and that very bullying with no care or sympathy for how they ended up in these situations is the exact culture that I believe is fostering said lolcows, and it's this exact culture of said bullying and over-exaggerations and hyperbole that puts so many potential victims in danger. I've made that pretty clear, and from what I understand, from everything I've seen, from all the lolcow channels that I've actually watched, it does feel as though Turkey Tom is the most accurate in his depiction and coverage of said lolcows, even if he does say something that I personally believe to be a little bit insensitive every now and then. He doesn't grossly over-exaggerate allegations such as, or similar in vein to channels like Bloodspeth or Pooh Boy, who are two channels that I've been quite vocal about in the past and are very big in the lolcow sphere, I guess. So we're going for Turkey Tom.
In the world of big business, there's an idea known as golden handcuffs. Companies will give their high-value employees...
Oh yes, golden hand... to be fair, I'm aware of this because I've... Is it bad to say that I use this tactic? I mean, golden handcuffs is just like being good to... I guess it's just being good to your employees so that they don't leave? Is that like a bad thing? I guess it definitely can be used as like a form of abuse or a form of... like a form of manipulation, but I don't know. Sure, golden handcuffs. Important bit of business, that. It's a good term to learn.
Lavish incentives to make sure they don't leave. Stock options, equity, bonuses, all ways to change.
Is it loud? Maybe I'm just too quiet. I'll lower the volume.
In talent to one specific corporation. But what if instead of working at any high-value company, your job was making TikToks? And instead of vacations to Bermuda and a new Benz, the thing making you stay was millions of people watching you destroy your life on a daily basis.
This person likes to wear diapers and soil them.
Trying Wingstop for the first time. These are actually pretty decent.
But this TikToker is hiding a dark secret.
And the relaunch of the Discord server is coming soon.
It's 18+.
The server got nuked! No!
Nova Online is a man who has been repeatedly exposed for his inappropriate interaction.
By the way, all these channels here, Mario, I've not heard of this one actually, but Sensitive Society, this one's ass, bro, this one's ass. Thank you so much for the membership, FGL. Thank you so much for the $2, Bite Mark, as well. I'll get the captions on right now. Thank you for reminding me.
And the relaunch of the Discord server is coming soon.
It's 18+.
The server got nuked! No!
Nova Online is a man who has been repeatedly exposed for his inappropriate interactions with underage individuals, and yet continues to document every step of his life online. From his hoarding, to his wall where he smears bodily fluids, his food reviews, and his most recent dive into creating adult content, he's a busy guy.
Wait, he has an OnlyFans? I had no idea about this. So I have made a video on Nova Online in the past. So I'm not completely unprivy to this information. I do know a little bit about him. It was a while ago, and I don't remember every single thing that I said in that video or that I've looked at. However, like, I definitely, before this...
I'm never making another
Have you not heard about the South Park vid? No, I haven't.
Discord server again.
He did, in fact, keep using Discord, and it went about as well as you can imagine. A total disaster. It's clear that at this point, Gabriel yearns for the attention no matter what form it comes in, chains from which he will never free himself. We've got a lot to talk about.
No!
So I know nothing's been bad for
Hey everyone,
I just wanted to let you know I have gotten tons of comments and DMs asking about the yearly weigh-in video.
Now you guys need to stop being...
Finally, I can post real videos to my new LG Stylophone.
Nova began his content creation journey on YouTube, posting Let's Plays of games like Minecraft, Brawlhalla, and Fortnite.
What's up, guys? Magic Wizard.
That was a really weird intro, dude. That was like the most insane intro I think I've ever seen. Alright, what is this fucking South Park video that everyone's asking me to look at? Nova Online South Park video. Okay, what is this? I've had a lot of DMs asking me for the people, Reddit. Where is it? What the fuck is this? Okay, I'm just gonna hope everyone's saying don't. Okay, I was about to look it up. Alright, I'll leave it out. I guess hopefully it's in the hopefully it's in the Turkey Tom video? If it's not, then I guess I'll figure it out later. It's his chub, don't. Oh, it's just, what, is it just his penis? Okay. Well, depending on the context, I just feel bad for him that he got leaked then. Unless he's, like, sending it to a minor, I guess, but...
This the 5th video I have recorded so far today.
As dedicated as he was, this channel was lost in the sea of other Let's Players trying to do the same thing. So he switched platforms from YouTube to TikTok and swapped
He posted it himself. Oh, on the OnlyFans, I guess. Right.
his format from video games to fast food.
Trying Wingstop for the first time. Cajun seasoned fries. Okay. Mildly spicy, but nothing that I can't bear. These are actually pretty decent. 8 out of 10.
This video got millions of views.
Yes, I do remember these, actually. I do remember these, the food review videos and stuff. In my original video, he did, like a burger review. So he'd review, like, a burger from a fast food shop versus a burger from, like, the bowling alley sort of thing. And he was just reviewing food. And I thought it was actually pretty charming. Like, I thought it was cute. I thought it was just a kid who had a little bit more free time than most people, a bit of socially awkward, right? Doesn't have many friends in real life. He just wanted to, I guess, express himself online or make some friends online, and did that through the modicum of food reviews, I suppose. And I thought that was genuinely quite an endearing or you know, cute thing for someone to do, especially for someone who is, you know, clearly struggles socially like Nova Online does. It's a really, honestly, quite courageous and cool thing to do, to put yourself out there if you're someone who struggles with that sort of thing. Like, I thought it was cool. But unfortunately, it just seems to have escalated, dude.
Changing Nova's life forever. An ironic fan base formed around him, eager to see what he would reveal.
But I do remember watching early videos of Nova Online and thinking, he's actually got, he's got some charisma, you know? Like, he's not completely boring. Before he was a lolcow, before people, like, started bullying him, he would go on camera and actually be somewhat, I don't want to say charming, but he wouldn't, like, he's someone that you could understand the appeal of, like, someone, he definitely has a group of friends, like a certain group of friends, you know what I mean? Like, he's not a lost cause, if that makes sense. I'll see if I can find my video on him, so you know what I mean, in fact. Bruh. Because there was a very distinct moment, I think, where I'm like, shit, I'm sort of clocking this. Yeah, the French onion soup video is a perfect example, by the way. He's, like, quite good on camera. He's got some charisma. This is it. Okay, this is here. Again, I'm watching myself here, but...
Alright, let's look at one more food video and then we'll move on.
Might be my last time ever doing this. Welcome back to Shot NATO. One of the series that I used to do on TikTok.
He's got fucking swagger. Like, alright, let's be real here. This guy is swag. I couldn't do that. Definitely not on the first take. I'd like to imagine this is the first take. It definitely wasn't, but I'd like to imagine that it was a first take, and he just managed to flip the cans over and do whatever he wanted with his plane of the universe, however...
Yeah, so this is what I mean. He does have some swagger in that video. He's clearly rehearsed it. He's got a lot of passion for what he's doing.
And a Mountain Dew started it off. This time...
And it is genuinely tough. Like, that's kind of cool. The way he threw it and, like, caught it and slammed it on the fucking, like, the tree trunk. It's cool. It was actually cool.
We're doing a can of Warhead soda. This shit is literally death in a can.
It's quite emotional, this.
It is, yeah, listen to the way that Nova Online's talking. It's like he knows how to act on camera. When you look at Tafiachu, when you watch, by the way, look at that. Look at the facial difference. Couple of years of YouTube really changes you. What do we think? Damn, Jesus, there really is a difference. You don't realize until you do it like that. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, when you watch Tafiachu, Tafiachu is very much not someone who has any kind of camera presence. There is no, like, yeah, there's no camera presence there at all. She looks incredibly uncomfortable on camera. However, Nova Online, before the whole... It makes me wonder how much of the horrible shit that has gone down with him is because of... like the bullying or culture that has ensued around him, or because it is genuinely in his character to be this massive creep. Thank you so much for the $10, dude. Your videos always published when I'm in a dark place. Help me get through in the least parasocial way possible. A lot of shit in my life. Keep up the good videos and hope you're doing okay. Thank you so much, Hamster Cheese. I hope you're doing well as well. Alright, people are saying that my forehead got smaller. It's because I lived in a mold-infested home at this point, and my hairline was legitimately, it was going. Like, it was bad. It was really scary, actually. It made me feel like shit. Like, I actually felt subhuman. But this is back in my, like... This was like a really cheap flat though that I lived in. Luckily, I had a really big room, but then the drawback was that there was mold everywhere. There were rats. It was grim. I started hitting the gym from this point as well. So yeah, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed. But that's what mold does, man. It will fuck you up. Anyway, let's head back here. I just think it makes it even sadder. It's almost sadder when someone has potential and someone falls from what was previously a decent or fixable position, if that makes sense. Like, this guy had real potential to be, like, you know, a relatively charming online creator with a very niche fan base of people that enjoyed their videos, but for whatever reason, it just didn't end up going that way.
Review next.
Trying Ultra Sunrise Monster Energy, and if you're wondering why I'm not at home, I'm at my church for Bible camp.
Unfortunately for him, within a matter of just a few months, he was exposed for having an interest in diapers.
Wait. Hey. Wait.
This is obviously pretty strange, but in and of itself...
He had a job as well. Yeah, you're right. He did have a job. Your videos helped me when I was in the hospital and lost my job, and back to work again. Keep up the great work. Sending you love. Thank you so much, El.
It's not technically a crime. What might be is him sharing these strange interests with who he believed to be a 14-year-old girl.
Oh wait, Casper, oh my god, please stop watching Turkey Tom. Alright, well, perfect. That's the end of the video, guys. End of the live, end of the Shepherd Boy video. Thank you very much for that input. You're going to get back to the video now.
Twinkle with that, how I wonder why you are up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky.
What is going on here? Oh, I guess he's cosplaying a child.
Following this incident, he was subject to being incessantly exposed for his strange behavior, and chronically bothered by trolls, to the point where his life became a bizarro version of The Truman Show.
I don't know if you can tell, but I've lost my motivation to shower and
I find comfort in
Eating.
His house is essentially a hoarder's nightmare. He documented himself attempting to clean it, before promptly giving up when he realized it would take at least a little bit of effort.
Y'all know me as the food review guy, the karaoke guy, the guy that tried to do a house cleaning saga but kind of failed on that and is now cleaning his room at his own pace.
He also continued doing fast food reviews, only to reveal the effects of a pure slop diet on his bowel movements.
Hey y'all, so I think I'm gonna go stop going to the Wendy's that I normally go to.
After a series of failed Discord servers, he attempted to...
I wouldn't say it's fine, it's still hella weird. I didn't say it was fine. Especially if he is talking to a child there, which I've not seen like evidence of yet, but I'm sure we'll get into that in this video. When it comes to the whole diet thing and hoarding thing and spreading fecal matter all over the walls thing, I'm a lot less, I don't know if less concerned is the right word, but I'm a lot less angry or potentially annoyed at that kind of thing in terms of Nova's life as opposed to the actual potential predation, because in my mind, Nova is, I know he's not a kid, I know he's, like, technically an adult or whatever, but let's be real, he's a fucking kid, you know, he's a kid. He's a kid who's very famous, a lot more famous than he should be, and also extremely autistic, and, you know, he's not in the right headspace, basically, to take care of himself. It'd be a fucking miracle if this guy knew how to take care of himself and his hair properly and he had a clean house. Like, no one looks, I just can't sit here in good faith, look at Nova online, everything I know about him, and go, oh, this guy should absolutely have a perfectly clean house and have a great diet. You know what I mean? It's like, that is almost asking too much from someone of someone like Nova Online. It's just not really on the table. What do you mean a miracle? Like, it would be a miracle. He's got some very serious mental health issues. Hygiene issues are, like, they're so common for people who are depressed or, you know, this kind of thing. I'm not saying it's, like, impossible. Obviously, it's something that can be worked through, but it's a lot harder to work through it when you're being bullied relentlessly by the entire fucking planet.
Create a new one in May of 2025, trying to bring his fan base together.
You're the same age. I'm confused why you calling him a kid. Because we had very different upbringings, dude. There are some people who are older than me that I am more mature than. There are some people younger than me that I am more mature than. He is not a kid. Well, because you saying he's not a kid, to me, reveals that you are very much young. Because 22, anyone above the age of 25 will say that 22 years old is a kid, dude. Like, yeah, we're adults, but we're very fucking young still. You're 33. Well, you should understand why 22 is like, that it's not unreasonable to label 22 a kid then.
At long last. This server featured several channels containing not safe for work content, but Nova and his mod team
I know he's technically an adult. 18 is also technically an adult though, dude.
Failed to have a proper age verification system in place, reportedly allowing minors to be
Dude, most 22-year-olds here in London still live with their parents.
exposed to
You're excusing atrocious behavior. We're not even talking about the minor stuff yet. All I'm talking about is the like the smearing shit on the walls and the eating having a bad diet. Having a bad diet and not taking care of your hair isn't atrocious behavior to anyone but yourself.
some bad stuff.
The server rules clearly state.
Okay, let's say that there's a pedophile, and we have to understand why the pedophile did what he did, right? So we say, I wonder what brought them to this point. Maybe they were abused as a child. Oh my god, you're defending the pedophile for what they did by bringing up what might have brought them to the point that they are at. It's like, no, we have to examine and prescribe the cause of this behavior so that we can prevent said behavior from happening in the fucking future. Dumbass!
You have to be above 18, but you gave a child moderator for singing in voice chat. What the fuck?
He also used this server to beg his fans for
If you're well aware of it, then what the fuck are you complaining about?
money, despite spending hundreds of dollars a month on useless trinkets and expensive DoorDash orders. And of course, he made sure to share with everyone that his diaper was, in fact, full once again.
Oh my god.
Within a few
You seem really riled up. See, this is what I mean. This is what happens when you can't, because you don't understand my point. Well, maybe explain it to me better instead of just insulting me. See, this is what happens when people don't actually have anything to say in response to what you said. This person said that I was excusing the behavior. When I said that I wasn't, they said that they agreed with me. Well, don't say you agreed with me when what you said directly contradicts what the fuck I just said. You clearly don't agree with me, so don't act as though you do. You insulted me first. Yeah, but I'm not making fun of you for being riled up. If you think I'm being stupid, that's fine. But when I give you a logical point against what you're saying, you just start attacking me on a personal level or like playing the maturity card. You're getting really angry right now, dude. It's like, well, how about you fucking respond to me then? Damn, look at all these capital letters. Control yourself, dude. Jesus. How the fuck how am I supposed to explain myself? You attacked me. Fuck me, dude. Alright. I am directly responding to you.
hours, the entire server was
Control yourself. I think you're rage baiting me. To be fair, this is a great bit.
hacked. Nova was on live stream when it initially went down, having a total
You're 33 years old. 33 years old, you know. 33? That's actually mad. Bro, a whole 11 times 3.
meltdown over the loss of his Discord kitten community.
The server got nuked! The server! No!
Say something,
This is you right now. This is you watching the Dan Kijabo stream, just so you know.
giving up on you.
And
Ash, why'd you ban them, dude? Fuck's sake. Don't ban people unless I ask you to, if they're like doing shit like that. They were funny. Alright, whatever.
there goes the server. Seriously?
But then, something strange happened. While this meltdown seemed pretty sincere,
Alright, 5 minutes. Okay, alright. It's just a wee 5-minute timeout. No bother.
given it was the actual moment that he found out about the server being destroyed, he then made a TikTok about it.
I'm never making another Discord server again. This is the
You know what they're doing? They're on their notes app right now. During the 5-minute timeout, they've clicked off the YouTube app. They're on their notes app. Like, you know when you're like talking to your like certain gal when they're talking to their partner, they get all these shit to like copy and paste onto the fucking message thing. That's what they're doing right now. I think they're gonna come back with like 5 EPQs.
Bruh.
They go to the ChatGPT. What's a good insult to give to Tankijeva?
To be clear, it's not weird that he made a TikTok. That is what he does. What is weird is that to me, this seems like acting. We know his real meltdown happened on the stream, but for it to happen again and to be so perfectly timed, he knew what he was doing. These meltdowns get him clicks online where people comment to make fun of him,
He's Turkey Tom's bang on, by the way. He's bang on.
it in the algorithm. And to his
on the live stream, it's absolutely more likely to be real. But when you actually start, when you get your phone out and you start recording yourself freaking the fuck out, and you know that's what you're popular for, Nova Online, he knows exactly what he's doing. And ironically enough, he's smarter than every fucker who fell for it as well.
credit, it worked. The video got 15 million views, and once again made him the subject of commentary channels that hate him. Nova had officially achieved self-awareness of his status as an internet punching bag, even playing into it.
Yeah, I feel as though Jesse's babies these lolcows too much. Obviously, being nice isn't bad, but you need to hold these dangerous people accountable. And also, they can literally just stop posting. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I think that if Nova Online's talking to minors, then that's really bad. Like, do you need me to sit here and give you like the whole spiel about why like pedophilia is bad, or why engaging with minors sexually is bad if you're an adult? Do you need me to, like, do we really need to do we need to understand that? I don't know, dude. I'm trying to give like a different angle to this because every fucker and their dog goes on about like, not even the genuinely horrible things that they're doing, but just everything else. Like when you watch a channel like Bloodspeth, they seem genuinely more concerned with the greasy hair or the overweight body or the shit on the wall, as opposed to the actual, like content of the potential crimes.
As his only means of any online relevance. This is where I last left off with him, trying to recapture whatever semblance of relevance he once had by recreating his hits.
Can I get a French onion soup, please? I think it's time to recreate one of my most viral moments. Can I get a French onion soup, please?
So what's happened since then? Well, to say the least, his past has once again come back to haunt him. First, one of his former classmates named Casey came forward to share.
Yeah, don't worry, Cookie Shard. I can tell you're talking in good faith here. And let's just watch the video, innit?
Her experience with Nova dating all the way back.
I'm sure we'll cross the minor bridge when we get to it.
Back to middle school. Over a 4-minute video on TikTok, she explains that he was a choir kid, but he wasn't accepted into the school's choir, so he made his own. What that apparently meant in practice was that he invited a bunch of girls over and told them that one of the requirements for his choir was for them to be comfortable with using exercise machines for music videos. I genuinely can't think of any reasonable explanation for this requirement, so I think we have to assume that Nova's gooning goes all the way back to then. The girl in the video eventually found herself in the situation of having to perform a couple of songs alongside Nova.
Sorry, what? Are we actually is he gonna play this video? Is there any evidence for this, or is this just a girl who's come out on TikTok?
But she decided she would rather not show up at all, which made him very upset, at least according to her. Later on, Casey claims that Nova asked multiple girls to go up to the front of the class, and once they did what he asked, he performed Love Me Like You Do by Ellie Goulding while giving the girls a Magic Mike style lap dance. Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Quirked up white boys are no longer allowed to bust it down sexual style. Any hitting of the yoinky Sploinky will be met with severe unforeseen consequences. That song.
Is there any evidence that this actually happened though? Because all I'm seeing is I'm not even seeing the girl talk about it. All I'm hearing is like Turkey Tom recount what the lady said. This definitely happened without teacher intervention. Well, yeah, obviously this would not have happened if the teacher was there, but this never would happen in like a UK school. What the fuck? But I need to see like. Danky, will you have the same opinion, Kiyomi and Micah, given their bad childhood, even though them being cousins is terrible? We can also talk about what led them there, not hate, by the way. Oh, absolutely. Like, unfortunately, in my opinion, cousin marriages are actually way more normal than people might think.
Is still fire though, you can't even deny it. Of course, when she noticed the direction things were heading, the teacher stepped in and...
Also, Kiyomi and Micah are second cousins, so like realistically... as much as people might not like me saying it, the chance of severe birth deformities are actually incredibly low. It's like 1.5% higher than with unrelated parents. So it's not even the genetic deformity bit that is like worth getting angry about. It's just the it's like the intuitively people just think incest is bad. You know what I mean? For very good reason, but it's just like a very deep intuition that most people in the West have. Yeah, Micah had a crush on her when she was 14, and there's like a 4-year age difference in between them as well. That's a lot more concerning than the cousin thing, in my opinion, the second cousin thing.
Intervened, preventing Nova from permanently traumatizing a group of middle school girls. Besides this incident, Casey claims that pretty much every single girl that went to school with him was equally uncomfortable around him due to how touchy he was. And she closes the video off by sharing a video of one of their choir performances. As you can see—
oh shit, no way, okay.
Here, Nova is the one in the red shirt, and his unique physique is pretty recognizable despite him being much younger. Now, as much as I'm sure everyone is tempted—
unique physique, I don't know if that's warranted. He looks like a pretty normal kid there.
Recognizable despite him being—
he's got like a little chub, I guess, but whatever.
Much younger. Now, as much as—
how did they get this video? Well, this is the girl's video, the girl who came out and talked about the choir thing.
I'm sure everyone is tempted to believe every aspect of this story, there are a few things to note. Firstly, this story supposedly takes place in middle school, so I wouldn't take it too seriously, to be honest. And secondly, we don't know how truthful Casey is being. I'm not accusing her of lying,
Agreed.
I'm just saying, remember to take everything that isn't confirmed in these stories with a big grain of salt.
Yeah, that's what I would say as well. Big grain of salt, not saying it didn't happen at all, but it is also very possible that certain aspects of the story are being exaggerated, especially because, according to her, she didn't even turn up to these sessions. So we're taking word of mouth from someone who was giving us word of mouth for a middle school choir show as well. So how severe this story actually is it's a little dubious.
Besides this former classmate of his, there was also a former friend of Nova's who was in contact with him since mid-2023, who was interviewed by two of Nova's main detractors named Solidus Nova and Bloodspeth.
Everyone's favorite channel here.
In this interview, she describes reaching out to him out of pity. She saw how much hate he was getting on TikTok and was hoping that by striking up a friendship, she could ease his sorrows. But over time, she came to the realization that he wasn't just hated for being cringy, but instead for allegations of predatory behavior. Over several screenshots of their Discord conversations, Nova can be seen talking about his general downtrodden state of mind. What's up? My brother is mad at me. Why? I just need time for myself. It isn't your fault, it's mine for being a loser. In another—
I think, am I right in saying that Bloodspeth and Turkey Tom had beef at one point? Because Bloodspeth accused him of plagiarism. I don't know if that's true or not. But, I think I vaguely remember something like that happening. Then again, Bloodspeth's a young guy. He's like 18 years old now. So that might have been— he must have been like 16 or 17 during that whole phase. I don't know how true it is. I think I just vaguely remember that sort of
conversation.
I vaguely remember that conversation at one point. Whoops.
Lavish incentive.
Fuck's sake, we've just— come on now. Where were we?
Predatory behavior. Over downtrodden state of mind. What's up? My brother is mad at me. Why? I just need time for myself. It isn't your fault, it's mine for being a loser. In another one of these conversations, Nova answers a simple, hey, it's been a long time, with, I'm depressed.
Thank you so much, Serpent, for the $20, dude.
Depressed as hell right now. When asked about what was wrong, he says everything, before stating he has been prescribed antidepressants and has had multiple self-deletion attempts. His reasoning for these feelings is that he's been, quote, backstabbed, mistreated, and played with. Now, if he's truly having these—
thank you so much for the $3. You should do a video about the Nazi problem in Australia. I don't know about that one, but I guess good luck with that.
These very dark feelings in a very serious manner, then that isn't something to be played with. With that being said, based on the messages, the majority of his problems relate to his time spent.
Side note, I don't think living with your parents necessarily makes someone childish. Like, the average age to move out first time in my city is 25 now. Yeah, I'm not saying that living with your parents makes you childish. I'm just saying that it is something that separates you from there's a distinction to be there is for sure a distinction to be made between adults who have never lived on their own before and adults who obviously have their own place and stuff. I'm not like making fun of or demeaning people who still live with their parents. I understand the cost of living. Most of my friends still live with their parents. It's like completely normal. It's so normal.
Online. A practical solution for someone like him would be to stop making videos and get a job. Both things that he is technically capable of doing. But as this video will make clear, his online infamy is somewhat of an addiction for him, and he thinks that the next—
Also, because he's tasted the lick of YouTube or TikTok fame that he has, it'll be a lot harder for him to revert back towards working in the real sort of working in the real world, or like these actual commercial industries, if that makes sense. Thank you very much, Haley, for the 5 gifted, dude. Super cool of you. I know for me personally, I had maybe 3 or 4 jobs before YouTube, but now that I am a YouTuber and I'm self-employed and I'm working on my own hours and I do all these hobbies and stuff and I'm buying a bunch of gear that I want to like expand, I want to do like, there's a lot of things I want to do. There's a lot of things that I can do. I've been gifted with the opportunity to do because of YouTube, that if it all just went away, if it like disappeared completely, it would take a long time for me to get used to working in the manner that most people do. It would take a while for me to get used to that again.
hit is always just around the corner. From how often he brings it up in—
Thank you. I don't think that Nova will ever be able to get a job because of his digital footprint. Nah, he will. He would be able to. I think he would be able to. I see what you mean, but that to me sounds like a bit of an excuse. That sounds to me like something he might say, like, no, I can't get a job because of my online stuff. It's like, if you try hard enough, I'm sure you can.
Conversations, it seems like he's using the suggestion he will take himself out as a way to garner sympathy, down to the way he trails off every sentence with a ... like he's typing out a fan fiction on Wattpad. I don't want to make light of serious mental health issues here, but the last message he sends after talking about this is, "Not even the Trevor Project wants to talk to me." If you're unaware, the Trevor Project is the mental health hotline for LGBTQ people. As far as I know, he's not really LGBTQ, so I have no idea why he mentioned this hotline in specific. I don't even know if you can be banned or have your phone—
Thank you. You know that autistic people are way more unemployed than neurotypical people, right? It's harder for them to get jobs. Yeah, I know. But Nova Online has had a job before. We've seen him working before. Like, we know he can maintain a job.
number blacklisted by the Trevor Project, but if that is true, you gotta wonder what he did to warrant that treatment. According to this former friend of his, he only ever initiated a conversation to engage in more self-pity and complain about his life, and had basically no personality besides that and his online persona. He never ever showed signs of taking steps to improve his life. What makes all of this worse is that Nova was explaining all of this to a girl who was still technically underage when they were talking. She claims that shortly after discovering him on Twitch playing Fortnite, she was invited into a call with him and one of his friends during his stream. But as enough time passed, he eventually turned his stream off, basically making it a private call between him and this minor. Nova's friend eventually took issue with this and—
One sec. I'm gonna comment. Why is he just making assumptions about his sexuality? I suppose if he's never been open about it before, and he's not shown any indication that he's like, you know, not anything but heterosexual, him talking to the Trevor— I don't know, it's not that deep. Him talking to the Trevor Project, I just don't think I really give that much of a fuck.
This is how she recalls it going.
He invited his friend.
I don't know if it's fanfic, I don't know if he's making it up, however, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not. I'd be more inclined to take those comments seriously on his end, because as someone who is online and has a career online and has received a lot of shit before, I am vigilant to how hurtful comments can be and how like hopeless it can feel a lot of the time when certain situations are happening. For someone like Nova Online especially, whose entire career is predicated upon people going at him, him at some point having like suicidal tendencies or suicidal thoughts or just depression at a bare minimum is not really a surprise to me at all. So I'd be inclined to not disbelieve those messages. Obviously, just the manner of which he is displaying or like conversing with the other party in talking about said tendencies it does seem a little melodramatic, but that might just be because he's a little socially inept.
right? He invited his friend, and then halfway through he stopped streaming. It was me, him, and his friend, and then his friend goes, "You sound kind of young. Nova, how old is she?" And he goes, "I don't know." And he goes, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 15." And he goes, "Whoa, Nova, she's 15." And he goes, "Damn it." He screams, "Damn it," right?
Unsurprisingly, he had somewhat spurious motivations from the get-go. Although he never said anything outright sexual that we know of to this girl, he did convince her to tolerate him pretending to be a baby on voice chats, and even sent a few videos of himself in baby mode and hugging some plushie, as well as showcasing his iced out binky. Although their conversations never went beyond talking about hugging, I'd say that this could have escalated to something much worse given Nova's reputation. To me,
I don't know if I fully agree that that's like a appropriate thing to say indefinitely. However, I am very comfortable saying that just what happened. We don't even need to go into hypotheticals what could have happened. But what did happen is fucked up, and it shouldn't have happened, and Nova is grim for that. In terms of like, it could have become something a lot worse or more insidious. It could have, but it also couldn't have. So yeah, I don't know. But regardless, just what did happen is grim enough as it is. I also love the Union Jack in the background over there. I don't actually. I don't, but
I'd say that this could have escalated to something much worse given Nova's reputation. To me, this reads as Nova wanting to talk to someone under the guises of having mental health issues, only to then turn the conversation towards his strange interest shortly thereafter. His real motivation in all of this. If he
yeah, like you shouldn't be doing this with a 15-year-old anyway.
Was allowed to talk to people all day about diapers and whatever else, I really doubt we would hear about his depression very often. But despite these people being somewhat decent sources on how Nova truly is when the TikToks aren't being recorded, these are girls, and Nova is known for behaving quite differently towards girls than he does with men. We also have testimony from a former coworker of his, who despite having a pretty superficial relationship with him, managed to offer up some interesting nuggets of info. For example, this person claims that contrary to Nova's constant pity party about how no place wants to hire him, at least in the case of the establishment they both used to work at, Nova wasn't actually fired, but instead he voluntarily resigned. Nova supposedly quit his job because, in his own words, he was making enough money from selling cameos and he lived with his mom anyway, so he wasn't in need of money. Not only is Cameo gonna come up again later, but it's actually come up before as a major issue for Nova. Cameo is one of the easiest ways to capitalize on having online clout. Basically, it's a website where you pay a few dollars for a celebrity to record a short video.
R.I.P. the Dan Kijavo cameo, man. But yeah, I do remember this as well. I remember Nova Online talking about how they weren't actually, let go from their job, but they quit intentionally because TikTok was doing so well for them. Now that actually does make a bit of sense to me. That's the exact reason why I quit my job when I, quit my job. I was working at Wetherspoons at the time here in Scotland. I had two actually. But yeah, when YouTube started doing well, or when editing started doing well for me, I quit that job. For Nova Online, obviously the TikTok space was a lot more volatile, maybe a lot more volatile than he thought or mentioned, or yeah, I guess just whatever he came in with, but the expectations were not proportional to the reality of what it might end up doing for him. But he probably didn't like his job to begin with and was trying to find any excuse to leave it. And because TikTok started doing semi-well, he just sort of took that and thought, okay, I'll fuck off now, because this is what people do when their side hustles, succeed, I suppose.
Video message for you.
Quandale Dingle.
It sounds pretty easy, but Nova also managed to screw this up. When a TikToker ordered his services, Nova recorded a shout-out video where he doesn't once name the person he's shouting out. This obviously renders the cameo completely pointless, as he could send that same exact video to literally anybody. When he deservedly got a 1-star rating, he contacted the TikToker on Discord, begging her to change her rating and even offering to record another video. Unfortunately, he never recorded that other video. It just goes to show how lazy and incompetent this guy truly is. With this much of a non-existent work ethic, there is no chance he could ever stop working and just do cameos. Another thing Nova's
True, yeah, true. 1 out of 5, he seems exceptionally lazy, and that's not like, that's not really anything you can blame on anything but himself, like that is purely just a him problem. He should pick himself up from the fucking bootstraps and actually make the cameos. Like, he's quit his job for cameo, actually put a bit of fucking effort in. Like, you're working this job, your French onion soup thing, you clearly know what the fuck you're doing, you know how to work. Cameo's not exactly a laborious job. You should have fucking known better, really.
Worker says is that his roommate claims to have witnessed Nova wearing diapers. Only now have I really considered the logistics of Nova, a wet diaper enthusiast, working at fast food establishments. How would you feel if a greasy-haired, unbathed, bed-bug-ridden, wet diaper-wearing Nova Online served you your food? Or even worse, what if he was the one cooking it? He's practically a walking OSHA violation. I actually don't know how he gets hired in the first place. Unfortunately, the coworker didn't have much to offer besides that, as they didn't spend much.
I don't know, that's just mean. Like, there's nothing, if he has a job, he has a job. That's what we want, is for him to have a job. If you go to Popeyes and someone like Nova Online serves you, I feel like you don't even bat an eyelid. Like, it's just sort of a normal interaction with a normal human being. I understand he's not, like, conventionally attractive by any means, but you wouldn't look at him at the counter of a Popeyes and go, whoa, something's up here. That this seems a little out of place. Like, what are you doing here? You just sort of order your food, you'd get your food, and you'd fuck off, wouldn't you?
Time together. But that to me is also notable because when girls give testimony of their experiences with Nova, they always report him trying to get as close to them as possible. But when it's just a dude, it's like he makes no effort whatsoever to try and establish any kind of relationship. While the information these two brought forward is pretty interesting, it totally pales in comparison to other developments that took place after my last video about Nova, also relating to his past. Although it hasn't been something I focused on, one of the most notable incidents during Nova's online presence is the Uncle Drew meltdown. For context, in March 2023, during one of Nova's gaming streams, this randomly took place.
God damn it! Cocksucker! I throw it days!
I don't like Popeyes either, laughing member. I think Popeyes is fucking wank, dude.
Feel my uncle, and I'm not gonna put up with any more of this. I'm done. No, I'm not fucking okay.
To the people watching at the time, it was really hard to make out what Nova was even trying to convey. And when he came back, he stayed mostly quiet and turned his face cam off, until he half-heartedly explained what caused the meltdown.
If you've seen the Discord, you'll know what happened with me and my uncle again. We got into another argument. It was for a bullshit reason too. I forgot plans that we had made for Friday and I had scheduled something else. And then he got angry at me because I forgot.
With online trolls, no matter how aggressive and disruptive they could be, Nova for the most part would just respond by becoming despondent and feigning depression. Uncle Drew, on the other hand, was the one
We do have Wingstop in the UK, and we have Popeyes, and I think they both suck. They make me really ill. Like, they make me want to vomit immediately. God, I hate it. I don't know if it's because I've been eating a lot cleaner the past couple of years, but, like, when I eat really shit food, I just don't even enjoy it anymore.
person that made him completely drop the act and go nuts.
And I'm not gonna put up with any more of this. I'm done. I'm done.
It's the unk factor that no one takes into account.
It rhymes with uncle. Fuck off.
Eventually, Bloodspeth managed to contact him and get some information directly from Uncle Drew.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of this, the Bloodspeth Uncle Drew interview, so I'd be curious to see what happens here.
Nova was sheltered, only child, growing up afraid of everything. The relationship between us was good. I'm the only one to spend time with him, learning how to fish, work on cars. Grandma got him garden.
God, okay, see, this makes me feel a little like, you're this kid's uncle. What are you yeah, but no, it's not even, contacting the uncle feels crazy for sure if you're Bloodspeth. But I don't even necessarily blame Bloodspeth for contacting the uncle. If anything, that's almost a good attempt at, like, trying to do journalism. But I'm a little perturbed. The uncle of this person, like, you're the uncle of this very mentally ill kid who's being bullied relentlessly, who's also done bad things, but even if they weren't being bullied or anything, it was all just shit that he'd done himself and he needs to be held accountable for, which a lot of it he does, by the way. If you're this kid's uncle, do you really find yourself going to Bloodspeth the YouTuber and airing out all of your dirty laundry with, you know, your niece or nephew on, again, the Bloodspeth YouTube channel? Does that not seem a little bit like a shitty uncle to me? Like, I'm an uncle. I would never, like, I couldn't even, I would never even, like, fucking hell, dude. If fucking Bloodspeth messaged me talking about, oh hi, your niece slash nephew has been caught up in some internet drama. Do you want to maybe come talk to me about it? It would be the quickest block ever.
His mother and father got him into the computer as a way to babysit him so they didn't have to. If you take away his internet access, he has classic withdrawal fits. Screaming, just going off like any spoiled single kid. He's awkward, shy, and afraid of his own shadow. It's TikTok that told him who he can be and that he can do what he wants. There is no right and wrong to him, only what TikTok says.
Spoiled single kid, take away. But whose fault is this though? Whose fault is all this?
He's awkward, shy, and afraid of his own shadow. It's TikTok that told him who he can be and that he can do what he wants. There is no right and wrong to him, only what—
Is it TikTok's fault? Okay, yeah, just blame TikTok for the kid ending up like a bit shitty. His fear of Pavilion, is it his fault, is it? So when you see a spoilt kid, when you see like a spoilt 5-year-old out on the street, you think, wow, what a cunt kid. I'm sure his parents are lovely people. I'm sure they did a great job and the kid was just born evil. Is that how you see the world, is it? Uwu the ghost, I'd do it easy. He probably cared about Nova and thought it was accountability. Also hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good night as well, I guess. But, I mean, if you would air out your niece or nephew's dirty laundry to Bloodspeth, then I guess that's one way to hold them accountable.
TikTok says. His own words. While these are interesting and definitely shine some light on the true character of Nova, according to Drew, Nova lied about what they had argued about. When he was asked about when their argument—
Nova is an adult. Yeah, but I'm not talking to him. So, hang on. You know what? Actually, fuck this. I'm not even going to engage with you.
Argument started, Uncle Drew replied saying he found out Nova had been lying to him about 2.5 years prior, but he was unwilling to say what Nova was actually lying about. There was no argument. There was him crossing a line. I put him on the spot over it, and it eventually led to me turning my back on him. It was him—
This is such fact, by the way. Parents never take accountability for how their kids turn out unless they're good kids. But if they're bad, they act like they don't know what happened. LMAO. That's so true, dude. That's so true.
Going on TikTok, saying false things, and acting like a pervert. That was the final straw. He needs to be under a doctor's care because he has issues, obviously. And if he's being a perv online, how long before he eventually acts on it? He's already been kicked out of the church and cost my sister her position because of his sexually inappropriate questions and his TikTok videos. Honestly, if I ever caught anyone harming a child, I would be hard-pressed to not put a bullet in someone for such crimes. I've made it clear to his TikTok friends threatening me that I'm always armed, and Nova knows this. Bloodspeth then asked Uncle Drew if Nova's TikTok followers had been harassing him, and Drew confirmed, adding that they had also been targeting his sisters, meaning Nova's mom and his aunts. The interview then comes to a halt as Drew says he's in the hospital and is on medication and would rather not say anything else. It seems he was the only person in real life who was truly alarmed.
Does he mean he'd kill his nephew? Yeah, he's saying that if his nephew was, like, harming a child, or was, like, preying upon a child, he'd be hard-pressed to kill him. Which, I mean, the urge to kill a pedophile isn't something that I am going to pretend not to understand. Again, it's just not something that I would fucking vent to Bloodspeth about, you know?
By the absolute degeneracy Nova was getting up to. And that's probably why Nova hated him so much. He was the one man unwilling to enable or tolerate his disgusting lifestyle, unlike the people who had joined Nova's Discord servers. A few months later, Uncle Drew was sent the pictures which had leaked of Nova where—
I'm not saying that killing Nova as the fucking uncle is a good move. I'm just saying that I understand the urge to, like, seriously harm a fucking, like, someone that you deem to be a pedophile. Like, I understand why you would feel that way. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. And again, it's definitely... My issue is more so that he's saying this shit but making no attempt to, I don't know, take away his access to kids. Yeah, I mean, that would be great, obviously. I don't know how much power the uncle has, though. As opposed to, you know, his parents, or like within the same circle, the church group or whatever, but we don't know what power the uncle actually has in Nova's life. We don't know if he actually has tried, or maybe it just didn't work, or if he's been cut off completely. We just don't know. Probably would have been good for Bloodspeth to ask,
wearing a onesie and sucking on a pacifier. In response, he asks whoever sent him this stuff to report it to the local sheriff. I'm 18 months in the hospital, so he knows I can't come slap the crap out of him, so please call an officer. Most of this I had no knowledge of, and if my brother were alive—
Why don't you just call the officer? Why are you getting Bloodspeth to call the fucking officer for? This guy's a weirdo, man. There's something going on here. I'm not a fan of this.
he would have been on top of it and made his life
Most of this I had no knowledge of. If my brother were alive, he would have been on top of it and made his life miserable.
His mom is a I don't see it so it doesn't happen type. My respect for her is less than zero.
Tell you one thing, and I'm not ashamed to say it. My estimation of Nova Online as a man just fucking plummeted.
She's not answering my calls or messages, so again, she don't see it. A useless parent. She also lives on the internet, so good luck. Personally, I'd give him a good old-fashioned trip out behind the garage and bust his ass until he never wanted—
Sorry, can this fucking guy stop talking about how he wants to beat his child up to Bloodspeth? This is really odd, dude. Like, I understand you're the uncle, you're angry that your kids ended up in this manner, and you're angry that her parents are doing a shit job, and your siblings aren't doing a good job raising him or whatever. But, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Is this your solution? Let me talk to Bloodspeth. That'll make everything better. Bloodspeth is gonna call the police and save my child. You realize Bloodspeth is financially incentivized to keep Nova online as mentally ill as possible. You realize Bloodspeth has called him, like, over 20 times, on stream, in fact, keeps getting fucking denied. By Nova Online, of course. He has his fucking number. He keeps fucking calling him. It's really weird. It's really weird behavior.
To see a computer or iPhone.
Bloodspeth is horny for Nova Online to keep doing horrible shit. One thing I will never forget is after our conversation, he went on stream afterwards and started, like, talking all this riff-raff. Dan Kijabo, I killed him in that debate. And then he goes, Fibs is going to do something. What are they going to say when Fibs does something horribly and preys upon a child and, like, actually does, like, a real act of predation? And then he goes, oh, I hope she does. That's what he says. He goes, I hope she does. And then he catches himself right afterwards and he goes, does not, I mean. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's pseudo-psychological to call that, like, a Freudian slip. But to me, it perfectly displays the real motivations behind these fucking Lolcow channels.
Ever. We tried, but Nova has irresponsible parents undoing everything positive by not backing us up. And now there's nothing I can do to prevent it. I mean,
they're already doing it, though. They take nothing. They take a situation where nothing has happened, and, like, well, something has happened, but no, like, pedophilia. And then they raise the stakes and they try to make it as hyperbolic and dramatic as possible because that's what they want it to be. They want it to be dramatic. They want it to be a crime. They want little children involved in the situation to be traumatized. They talked to the fucking 14-year-old involved in the Fibs case and tried to manufacture trauma within the 14-year-old by insisting to them that they were groomed, that they are a victim of pedophilia. When if that never happened and they were just honest about it all, that kid wouldn't feel groomed. That kid wouldn't feel nearly as shit as they probably do now. So Bloodspeth is the worst person to, like, vent about how much you want to kill Nova for.
Only person that he had a healthy respect for. He learned the hard way when he said I wouldn't do anything right before he hit the floor. And I offered him the ability to get up and challenge me again. If I had my leg and the injuries healed up, I'd show up, let myself in, and pop him in his head and wait for law enforcement. And we would pull up his stuff and view it together and let them do what they can. Now, despite Nova's behavior,
this fucking uncle's a weird fuck, dude. If you're Bloodspeth, the person you should be calling the officer on is Drew. What, you want to go to his house and shoot him? First of all, you don't need legs to shoot someone. You're all fucking talk. If you wanted to shoot him, you'd have shot him. That's not me saying, oh, do it, pussy. That's just me saying you're a fucking talker. Seriously, fuck you, dude. What a prick. This is why I'm not surprised Nova ended up the way that he is. He's got deadbeat parents, a mum that doesn't give a fuck, and an uncle who's fucking deranged.
I do want to say that a personal uncle vigilante...
Yeah, he's literally fantasizing about being violent and murdering his nephew. Fucking coward.
Moment is not something that I endorse or support in any way. I do not think that any physical violence is a good idea in any form whatsoever. If any action should be taken by anyone, it's law enforcement in these scenarios. I doubt that's going to happen either way, but no one should be busting anyone's lips open over this stuff. Regardless, Drew does allege several things.
Look at this fucking wanker, dude. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that Nova ended up the way that they are.
Here. Nova's father had passed away, and his mom is his primary enabler, actively ignoring and pushing away anyone who
dead father as well, man. It's rough. It's rough for him.
Who will question her son's activities. Sadly, just 1 month after these messages were sent, Uncle Drew passed away, presumably due to whatever caused him to be in the hospital for 18 months. It's worth noting that in his obituary,
it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame, I guess.
It said that he spent his life working in special needs care. To me, this is interesting because when it comes to discussing widely hated internet...
Yeah, the uncle's the mum's brother, I believe.
Figures. Sometimes people will bring up that they're disabled in some way as if to justify the bad things they've done, or at least excuse them from suffering the consequences of their actions. If I am to believe this obituary, Uncle Drew spent his life working with people who were actually disabled. So at least in theory, he knew the difference between someone who is genuinely special needs and someone like Nova, who takes advantage of everyone's tolerance to do whatever he pleases. Ultimately, all I can say to Uncle
Jesus, the fact that someone like that is working with special needs children is terrifying.
Drew is rest in peace. If his account is true and righteous, then if it weren't for him and Nova's dad when he was still alive, who knows how bad things could have gotten before anyone else intervened. Especially given the fact...
Yeah, or who knows? Who knows if maybe he's part of the reason as to why Nova Online is so fucked up. Like, he's literally admitted to getting violent with him. Do we really think that that had, like, an undoubtable positive effect on Nova Online? Really? Really?
Fact that Nova could have avoided his entire down...
Maybe he helped. Maybe he helped. Maybe he did. But to act as though he definitely did, and that Nova Online would have been worse off, or better, like, yeah, worse off without him, I don't know, that's an assumption, and I feel as though it's not predicated upon enough evidence.
Downfall by simply purchasing one of my hats.
This beanie is a...
I know so many care workers who, exactly, it's possible to be abused by care. I was just going to bring this up. I know so many care workers who aren't properly educated in their field of care. Like, there's a lot of care workers here in the UK, and first of all, I want to say, I completely understand that being a care worker is a fantastically difficult job. So hard. And I have tremendous respect for every care worker in the UK, especially with all the asylum seekers and people, you know, all the refugees coming in right now. I understand completely that it's really difficult, especially to work with that amount of people per day and stuff. However, there is a lot of blatant ignorance and racism from people who are supposed to be caring about these people the most. So someone will come in, let's say they're 15 years old, but they have quite a dodgy hairline. Like, they're 15 years old, but they're balding very much. Obviously, there's no real way of verifying their age a lot of the time, so all you need to do is take them at their word for it. A lot of care workers will have a look at this kid, they'll go to the back, and they'll say something along the lines of, well, they're from, let's say they're from, like, Sudan or something, and they go, well, he says he's 15 years old, but I'm having a look at his hair. He doesn't look like my 15-year-old. And it's like, yeah, well, your 15-year-old has every hair product under the fucking sun, doesn't live in a war-torn country, can eat properly, can drink properly, has a roof over his head, gets good sleep. This kid here is stressed out of his fucking box for the entirety of his life, has no nutrients, he's in a war-torn country, he is, like, there is nothing... Ooh. It's horrible. Like, it's very much not an equivalent situation at all. And that's not me saying that these care workers are bad people. It's not. A lot of them are great people. But they're just not contextually educated enough on the circumstances that lead to certain aspects of people's appearances or personality traits, for example, to accurately prescribe the correct ways of moving forward to every refugee or asylum seeker. Now, I think largely they do a good job, obviously, but I'm just making the point here that just because someone's job is to take care of people, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are the most qualified or automatically a great person with no prejudice whatsoever.
Fine.
This uncle, for example, despite allegedly working for people with special needs, seems to be a massive fucking arsehole as well.
It's hard to tell when exactly Gabe's unique urges began to show in real life, but we can actually figure out when they began manifesting online. KF user Osama bin Laden, I assume not the real one, but you never really know these days, managed to find Nova's old Quora account under the name Nick Nyadine. We know that this alias is him because it also shows up in the descriptions of a YouTube channel with a lot of videos that clearly show a much younger Nova, as well as a Twitter account that's tied to him.
And I would just like to say thank you. Again. I've gotten over 100 views on my epic and epic card trick shots.
It's pretty shocking to see Nova before the greasy hair and the Discord mod physiognomy overtook him. It's even more shocking to see that 10 years ago, he was already making the same exact kind of content he still makes today, recording himself on an iPhone opening Pokemon cards. To this day, he still opens random trinkets, toys, water bottles, whatever his fascination of the week is, he opens them on TikTok. Also, another side note, his introduction here is clearly him imitating Jacksepticeye, who Nova was probably watching a lot at that time.
Hey everyone, ladies, my name is Nick99, and finally I can post real videos to my new LG style phone. So,
I was gonna say, yeah, this is heartbreaking. This is like really sad to watch, because he's just a normal kid. He's just a normal kid who's like really nerdy and passionate about YouTube and wants to make YouTube videos and like be like his favorite YouTubers.
today I have a
And then it all just went downhill. But the reason why this makes me sad is because this is me. This is me as a kid. I lived in like a very different set of circumstances. I lived in a very different city, a very different country, maybe a different financial, I don't know. We had very different circumstances, but like there are so many people in this chat who had, who are looking at this and can relate. Like, I can relate to this passion for YouTube, this passion for wanting to be a creator, this passion for wanting to, like, looking at Jacksepticeye and wanting to be him and being like, wow, I wish I could do that, you know what I mean? But just at some point in everyone here's lives, that path divulges a little bit, and I guess I went this way and Nova Online went a different way for whatever reason, you know? Luckily, I have two parents that love each other and love me. Maybe that's what led me to this position. Maybe. Maybe it's because I don't have a fucking homicidal uncle who wants to kill me. Maybe that's what it is.
amazing video for you today. Merry Christmas to all. So I'm going to be showing you Pokemon figures I got for Christmas.
This is also reflected in his early YouTube content. Based on this, it seems his original intent was to make an honest-to-God gaming channel and have that succeed.
What's going on, YouTube? It is the phenomenal 9912334 coming back at you with an update video today. And first of all, I would just like to say my channel is ultimately dead. But that might all change.
You can criticize Let's Players all you want, but those guys do have to work to make their channels succeed. Especially people like Jacksepticeye or Markiplier, who have managed to maintain audiences over the course of the last decade and a half. Nova, meanwhile, gave up on trying before he even had a half-decent microphone. He grew impatient with his lack of success, and ultimately, when he finally blew up, for less than stellar reasons, he let the entire thing consume him, rather than trying to make something people actually cared about unironically.
Today, we're gonna break down and finally do it. Guys, we are finishing our 100 fishing challenge.
It's really weird for me to see these old videos of Nova as someone who's made a few videos about him already, because you can clearly see that in another timeline, he could have grown up to be a normal person, but something went terribly wrong along the line, and now we're stuck in the bad ending. Based on Osama's findings, the final crack that sent Nova barreling down the
why is he criticizing the quality of his old videos? Then that's kind of tear-jerking. Yeah, I'm with you. It is a little tear-jerking. No, it is. I completely agree. What else have we got? Someone said about mentioning, like, having empathy for a predator. Where was that message? Because it is interesting. Oh, is that it? He probably could have been a sweet person if the life didn't take over. Okay, I can't find it. I think it's gone. Don't worry, I'm waiting. Okay, I can't find it. I think I saw. Thank you very much, Whisk Brand, for the membership, dude.
black hole he currently finds himself.
I was gonna say, you can have empathy for people and not like their actions at the same time. Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's the very same fucking example that I just said. If someone's a pedophile, and the reason and what brought them to that tendency is that they themselves are a victim of pedophilia when they were younger, you can simultaneously go, oh man, it is so horrible that you were a victim of pedophilia when you were younger. That's so bad, and I have a lot of sympathy for that. However, it's also fucking disgusting that you are now a pedophile. Those two things can coexist. You can have modicums of sympathy and empathy for bad people who have done bad things. It's really not that fucking complicated. And it really worries me that people don't understand that. Like, it really does worry me. It's something that I will never stop saying. I have to, like, have this fucking speech every half an hour on this bastard channel.
Took place in 2021, as that's when he began following the teens in diapers topic on.
But yeah, that like little back like flashback there to the kid version of Nova Online, that legitimately gets me a little like emotional. Because it's really, really sad. It's really sad.
On Quora. Right around the same time, on Nova's Instagram, he was saying that he had been having mental
Sorry, you can't see them.
breakdowns, describing them as pounding headache.
What you lack is nuance.
Hold on. You're telling me that Nova is suffering from sudden physical symptoms caused by his mental...
Being wrong is the quickest way to being right. Knowing your faults, admitting your faults, is the quickest way back to being a good person. Sorry.
Problems, he has mommy issues, and he's overweight and greasy. This is ringing a bell.
It's good to be in something from the ground floor.
One of Nova's posts on Quora was a reply to a thread someone else made. This person was asking if they should be worried that their 17-year-old daughter is age regressing, to which Nova said this: "You should not be worried at all. She might be dealing with mental issues like I have recently. I'm also 17, and your daughter might be a part of the Age Re community, which is a community of teens and younger adults who regress voluntarily or involuntarily. There are different stages of regression: infant, toddler, and kid. It seems like your daughter is at stage 1 regression, which is the kid stage. Don't be ashamed if she goes into the toddler stage either. They use sippy cups and pacifiers. I use them as I use them as well if I age regress as well. So at 17 years old, he was already using pacifiers and sippy cups. Parents are usually worried about catching their kids doing drugs or drinking, but imagine if you check your son's bedroom one day and you find binkies and diapers. All of the stuff Nova eventually got.
Yeah, it's not personally something that I find very funny. I think a 17-year-old kid doing that kind of thing, just like, there's so many signs there that something went wrong.
In trouble for doing were things that had been brewing for years up until they blew over. And as his former Discord friend showed,
clearly has childhood trauma if he's age regressing. Well, on top of that, most YouTubers have this this unfillable thirst for attention. Like, I'd be willing to bet most people, most kids who make videos like the ones Nova Online was making, don't get anywhere near enough attention as a kid. Like, they all have, every YouTuber has, like, a problem with that, I find. Where, like, as a kid, they, like, or maybe they got attention, but it wasn't the type of attention that they should have been receiving, if that makes sense. Like, there's always some quality, like, it's some weird shit, man. And if he's age regressing at 17 years old, it's like, especially with a deadbeat mom and a dead father and a homicidal uncle, it's like, I mean, I'm not going to prescribe or act as though I understand what, like, brought him to this situation, but you never find any of these lolcows with perfectly hospitable and normal, empathetic, or efficient parents, and it's like a normal family living situation, you know what I mean? There's always some horrible shit going on.
Even after being exposed,
And you know why it probably is? It's probably because when people like Nova Online exist, they exist. Little Moon, are you not a YouTuber? Yes, and these things apply to me as well. We all have either diagnosed or undiagnosed ADHD. Definitely in, like, the commentary space, at least. I don't know if I can say the same for, like, book YouTubers, for example. But, like, I'd be willing to bet most YouTubers, like, it's whatever. But yeah, whenever I hear, like, a YouTuber be like, you know what, I think I might have ADHD, or maybe I have, like, undiagnosed ADHD, I'm sat there like, yeah, and the sky is blue and water is wet. You know what I mean? Anyway, fuck, what was I gonna say? Yeah, people like Nova Online exist. It's not as though he's like the only case of a person like this existing on the planet. However, people like Nova Online that do exist with parents who are, I guess, a little more knowledgeable of how to parent properly, wouldn't allow them to be online, if that makes sense. You shouldn't assume that all YouTubers have ADHD, though diagnosing people can be harmful. Yeah, obviously I'm being a little bit facetious, dude. I don't think that 100% of YouTubers have ADHD.
Continued looking for minors to get in contact with. As commentary channels ramped up their attacks on him as a consequence of new information coming out, Nova began watermarking all of his videos, not just visually, but also in audio form.
And I think I'm gonna go with the Pepsi Wild Cherry Zero Sugar.
Exclusive property.
So,
Water is not wet, it makes things wet. Okay, I'm going to time you out for 10 seconds for being a smart ass.
let's go ahead and pour about half of this water bottle into the soda stream.
This was just one of several defensive strategies Nova concocted to prevent people from making fun of him. For example, if you go check his TikTok, you can notice that he records a lot of his videos in an indistinct location outside of his.
I'm timing you out as well, Rainbow. You get 1 minute though, because you're taking the piss now.
House, or he uses a green screen filter to cut out the background. If you're wondering why this is, it's because of the Horde.
But Turkey Tom, what is the Horde?
You see, the Horde is an eldritch being distributed between Nova's bedroom, living room, and kitchen. It's rarely seen due to the fact that Nova is self-aware enough to know that people will point it out, but not self-aware enough to actually do something like clean it up. Its body is composed of a wide variety of empty frozen pizza boxes, cereal boxes, food packages, trash, actual uneaten food, and it will continue to slowly increase in size until—
Kentucky Tom, shut up about the living space is so stupid. Yeah, I'm not a fan of how he's presenting this, obviously. Especially because when it comes to like actual pedophilia accusations, he almost seems to just sort of skip past those. Like, we don't get any— it's this dramatic for hoarding, which is very normal for people like Nova Online, as much as it shouldn't be. Maybe normal's not the right word, but it's not a surprise by any means. Especially when you consider the environment that he grew up in. But when it comes to the actual pedophilia accusations, we don't get nearly as much drama or, like, emphasis on how harmful it can be.
It consumes us all.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Specialists speculate.
Also, low-key, go to an all-boys dorm in uni.
Cereal boxes, food packages,
yeah.
Trash.
Stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created.
Actually, no. Go to an all-girls dorm in uni as well. Like, just go to any dorm in uni. That's not even— maybe that's a little performative of me, honestly. I think as a whole, gal are probably a bit cleaner. But, like, fuck me. There's so— like, people are filthy. There are young people who are— there's so many young people who are fucking filthy. That's why I'm so glad— I'm so happy that I live alone now. I'm so glad.
Let's speculate that the Horde exhibits similar powers to the fungus from Resident Evil, as it can take over people's minds and make them—
No, it's not even that. I'm not even saying that it's not necessary to mention. It is necessary to mention, but I just don't approve of the way that it's being talked about. Would you live like this? And who cares if this is bullying? He's a predator. Why is that being dismissed as if Nova is a fucking victim? Well, he's a victim of some things and not a victim of other things. Again, to bring it back to what I was saying earlier. If you are a pedophile and you have preyed upon a child, and what brought you to said proclivities is that you, as a child, were preyed upon, you are both a victim of pedophilia and also a perpetrator of it. The two can coexist at the same fucking time.
Incapable of self-reflection, so they never develop.
And in that situation, making fun of the person for being preyed upon probably isn't appropriate, even though they are now doing it to other people.
develop the capability of cleaning the horde up. Case in point, Nova, its first victim. After being repeatedly made fun of for living in a hellish hoarder pigsty, instead of doing something about it, he made a video deflecting, saying that his bedroom is actually neat compared to the rest of the house, which he claims is way worse and is full of roaches and maggots. This is one of the funniest things ever said on video.
You think my bedroom is gross? You should see the rest of my house.
To me, this really seems like an attempt to pass the buck to his mom, as if she is the one responsible for the house being a complete hellhole and not him. While it's difficult to track the progress of the horde and the general filth it
He doesn't live with himself, I think he lives with his mum.
all over Nova's living space due to how careful he is when he records videos, symptoms of it do occasionally appear in the background whenever he slips up. For example, one of the most notable instances of Nova exposing his grimy living room.
The mum is a deadbeat, but let's not act as though... Look, as much as I understand that it's very, well, not normal, as much as I understand that this, you know, things like this do happen, and living conditions like this are horrible, and they do happen a lot under people like Nova Online. That's not me saying that, like, he's completely exempt of responsibility here. Obviously, it is partially on him for letting his space get this dirty. It's just not something that I personally care that much about when a large portion of this conversation is in regards to, like, actual pedophilia or predation, if that makes sense. I was once rather mentally ill and frankly upsettingly messy. It was an explanation for it, but not an excuse, and it wasn't ableist for someone to point it out. Yeah, but my issue is, it's like, this doesn't harm anyone other than himself. Like, the pedophilia, the predation, the talking to minors and stuff, that harms other people. That is what should be talked about here in, like, a crass or insulting fashion, right? There's room there to criticize someone or hold them accountable. When it comes to this, having like a clean home or whatever, it's bad, it's disgusting, I can look at it and go, oh, I wouldn't like that very much if I lived in it, but it's not something that I can really bring myself to get angry at, because it doesn't really affect anyone other than himself. Like, as much as he is a bum, and he's fucking himself over, I don't really care that much, because he's only fucking himself over.
Situation is the poop wall, also known as the blood wall. In videos he recorded while lying down on his bed, you can see that the wall behind him has these dark brownish stains. While there are many possible origins, scientists in the comment section speculated that these streaks are the result of Nova picking his skin, or maybe scratching small wounds until he bleeds, and then running his fingers on the wall. Alternatively, people also theorize that those stains come from him killing small bugs due to his house being infested, obviously due to the horde. Others have guessed that it's from his...
See, Jesse, we should have watched Andrew ditch because there isn't anything to feel sorry for. You better not forget to at least see his body cams. I'm sure we'll look at him at some point. I'll make a note of him. I'll do it right now. One sec. But I'm not like seeking people out that I can't feel sorry for. I'll talk about anyone. It's just I want to talk about them in the manner that I deem to be appropriate.
His butt. They guess that it's Dookie. Okay, that's what they're guessing. Honestly, it could be some combination of all.
Thank you very much, Kate, for the quid.
But whatever the case may be, there's really no downplaying how extremely nasty this space is. Usually we only see Nova from the chest up, or he's outside. But when you see him in a full body shot inside his bedroom, it's frightening to see how he looks so small, as he is being completely engulfed in the ancient evil living in his home. Seriously, Nova puts Asmongold to shame. It's almost impressive how he can even live in these conditions and go unbothered by it. To be fair, besides Uncle Drew, Nova has proved himself to be pretty unbothered by pretty much everything. Although he likes to play up how depressed he is to garner sympathy, everything people say about him...
He is probably horrendously depressed, dude. Like, I don't think I buy the whole he's over-exaggerating how depressed he is. When you look at someone like Nova Online, living in a place like that, with parents like the ones he has, and a homicidal uncle, who just died, by the way, being bullied every day by fucking weirdos, and also having, like, his horrible past being held against him, and also being a fucking predator, which I've not seen any, like, direct evidence for I've seen evidence of him being weird towards minors for sure, but, like, I've not really seen any pedophilia yet. Him being depressed is like the least surprising thing on the fucking planet, dude.
This point clearly rolls off his back. Even when people actually cross the line in a serious way, like showing up to his house in real life to insult him, he just yells back at them.
Read the sign! No trespassing! You two bitch!
You gotta envy how low cortisol this guy is, even in the face of adversity. Literally nothing can spike his levels. Not even people showing up to his house in real.
Have you? Thank you very much for the $5, Solichuk. Have you? I'm not even gonna read that message. I don't want the whole chat to be about that.
Life unprompted. I think
Thank you very much for the money.
Realized that him being harassed.
Also, no hate. I know the whole chat will be about it. So.
Asked IRL.
And then by proxy, the entire fucking YouTube comment section will be about it too.
Attracted people's attention. So at a different time, he tried to act as if there were trespassers on his property, even though no one was there.
If anyone's on my property, get the f off of it! Gabriel, stop yelling at that, especially like that.
Thank you so much for the $20. Do a Cyrax deep dive. It's quite the rabbit hole. Yes, that's a very good point. I should do that. I'm gonna note him down as well. According to Bloodspeth, Cyrax is like the worst one, so that means they're probably, to be honest, it probably means they're a fucking saint, but we'll see, we'll see. I don't know anything about them, by the way.
You don't yell like that out the door at this time of night. What about our neighbors?
I have a strict no trespassing policy, you know that.
Ultimately, the only thing he truly cares about is bringing attention to the slop he puts out on TikTok. Which brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about, his content, if we can even call it that. It's mostly remained the same since he was a preteen. From his karaoke videos.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, they say who murdered 3.
To taste testing disgusting looking fast food that he can't be bothered to properly edit, so every other take ends with him reaching his finger to the pause recording button on his phone.
That's quite funny. That's quite funny. I like that. That's pretty funny. That's actually just funny. That's really funny. That's unreal.
Because he's incapable of conceiving of content besides the things he's
just gotten lazier. And again, like when you see that young kid making these videos and stuff and he's got so much passion for it, as he gets older and more cynical and the attempts at success become more futile, he has definitely lost the passion, unfortunately.
Been doing for years, he can only introduce variations within his area of expertise. For example, instead of reviewing fast food, he's recently taken to reviewing grocery store snacks and even water.
Waikio water versus Voss.
I rate that. That's good. I like that. That's good content.
Two very expensive waters going head to head.
The interesting thing about this is that despite each individual item he buys being relatively inexpensive, he was actually spending a decent amount of money on all of these items. KF user Typhlosion Tuesdays managed to tally up everything he showcased in his videos for the majority of January 2026, which added up to 400.
Wait, by the way, anyone who's used to water knows that bottled waters do taste different. They've got a distinct taste to them, especially since moving to London. I can't drink the tap water here no more. I miss the water so much. Scotland is like the one thing. No, the things I miss about Scotland are I miss the accents and I miss the tap water. Those are the things I miss. Because you can't drink the tap water in London. It's fucking disgusting, dude. It's horrible. So I've only been drinking bottled water up here. And there is a definite difference in the different in the brands. That'll be another Shepherd Boy video. It's the bottled water reviews. We'll get 10 different brands. And honestly, you can blindfold me. I'll guarantee you I will know all of them.
$28. It's not a totally insane amount.
Scottish accents are so fine. I don't think you've been to Glasgow before. You don't understand what you're talking about.
of money per se, but it is quite a bit to spend on takeout and snacks, especially given that Nova is unemployed and constantly complaining about his money problems. As for how he actually pays for all of this crap, it's probably some combination of the money he gets from TikTok gifts, the occasional cameos that I assume at least some people are crazy enough to pay for, and most likely his mom's money or food stamps. Of course, due to how much he clearly mooches off of his mom and does nothing productive for society, her, or himself all day, this is one of the go-to critiques of the people who hate watch him, that he should, you know, improve his life and maybe get a job.
What's up, guys? It's me, Chills, and welcome to the top 11 ways to scare Nova online. Number 11.
And I'm not gonna put up with any more of this!
From late October to early November 2025, he did briefly have a job at Popeyes, but within 2 days, he had already lost it and claimed that it wasn't his fault. During a stream he did soon after the firing, he gave up some information and context on what happened.
I mentioned that I didn't want to work with minors, and they didn't like that, so they fired me. It's not f***ing funny. Every ounce of dignity I've had since Friday has now been lost. And maybe we've been left with less than what I had before. Fuck off, I'm not clip farming. If you don't want me to get angrier, stop. And you guys don't want to see me angry. I was so excited to finally...
Uncle Drew did say that abuse wasn't the case, but then in the same breath admitted to physically abusing his kid. And, like, pushing him onto the floor. Obviously not his kid, but, like, he fought him. And obviously neglect is abuse as well. Of course neglect is abuse. Are you joking me? Oh, you put question marks as in, like, okay, as in you're taking the piss. Alright, I hear you.
Start working again, and then they came around and spoiled it.
Obviously, people suspected that he wasn't telling the full story here, and eventually he was rage baited into giving up more information on what really happened. It all started when one guy in the chat said, "This guy worked at Popeyes and my sister got him fired," to which Nova responded by saying this.
Oh, it's your sister, huh? Tell her I said piss off. I knew it was one of my trolls that got me fired. Your sister is going to get what she deserves. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna let karma do his work. Knew it! Galaxies aren't gonna fix my mental scars. Thanks for the gifts. I appreciate it, but it won't make me feel better. Someone's...
That's so edgy! He's so edgy, what the fuck? This is so edgy online. Fuck me.
Spread terrible rumors about me and got me fired within 48 hours.
It's not really surprising to anyone that he would blame his trolls for how bad he managed to make his own reputation. You can't be this much of a degenerate for this many years without word.
To be fair, if that comment is correct, then it kind of is his trolls that fucked him out of this Popeyes job. Like, if that comment really is, if it really is as simple as this, like, this bloke's sister got him fired for, I don't know, they just showed him the TikTok and was like, I think you should fire him, then that kind of is his trolls fucking him over, right?
Going around.
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know which version of events is true here. So yeah.
And locals finding out what kind of person you are. So I don't think he'll be holding a job anytime soon. But despite that, I'm sure Nova was perfectly happy to have an excuse to continue being unemployed so that he can spend all day live streaming on TikTok. After he lost his job, he briefly teased, or should I say, threatened, to do something very radical to make some money.
Already applied there, already applied there, already applied there, already applied at the gas station, they didn't want me. I'm tempted to start an OF. I'm desperate.
The fact that he even brought this idea up means he probably already intended to do it, which is not that surprising considering that in the past he sent some interesting pieces of media to his old Discord server.
Thank you very much, Goofy Soupy, for the sheep. For the membership. Sheep. Oh my god, that's like a expensive membership, dude. Fuck me. Thank you very much. I was gonna say I like your username as well, Goofy Soupy. It's fucking rad, dude.
Thwoinky embargo has officially been terminated effective immediately. All of this is besides the fact that he's also on record admitting that he's bought some intercourse-related paraphernalia.
What is the craziest, like most out there purchase you've ever made online? And anything, literally anything you can buy online. That's the craziest thing you ever bought.
Considering I dabbled in shots video a little bit, probably a couple cages.
And that's that thing you put around your wiener, right? Like conceit.
Pretty much, yeah.
If anything, I'm sad to say that Nova was probably looking forward to putting himself out there like that, so to speak, which
Yeah, probably. He probably loves the attention in a weird, fucked up way.
is a pretty grim prospect. Fortunately, for the time being, humanity was spared from this atom bomb going off. For the 5 months or so after my last video, Nova continued to publicly decay, although he seems to have become more comfortable going out in public. In June, he went to a pride parade and was pictured with a bunch of people there. A few months later, he was spotted Bigfoot style, lumbering around in a post-apocalyptic environment, which
Bigfoot, okay.
I can only assume is the natural consequence of the world being terraformed by Nova. Then
he's just walking outside. And then some weird guy's like taking pictures of him whilst he's just walking like a normal person.
Suddenly, in late October, right around the time he got and subsequently lost his job at Popeyes, this incident happened.
Keeps happening to me. Oh, he's just fine. He's just shit himself in this video. Jesus Christ. This keeps happening to me in London, by the way. I've not one person has said hello to me in London. In Glasgow, it happened every time I went out. Someone would say hello to me. Like, oh, hello, mate, I like your videos. In London, no one does that. They just take pictures of me. I'm on the fucking train, just on my phone, and I have like a fan of mine next to me, just like looking over my phone. And as they leave, they like get their phone, and I can like see them mouthing. Like when I look at, I'm like, bro. I'm here, say hello. I don't know what it is with these fucking London folk. It's ridiculous.
Now, to the untrained eye, this may seem like Nova just farted on stream without even trying to cover it up. This is where you and I differ.
Come to Florida and we will say hi. I know, I've been there, and you did say hi. London is like New York for real. No, no, no. New Yorkers were lovely. I got recognized a few times in New York, and you guys were cool as fuck. There's something about London, though. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but no one wants to say hello.
I believe that this specific pocket of gas was lodged into some deep crevice of his brain that prevented him from being self-aware. Because in the same live stream this took place, Nova gained 15 IQ points and made some interesting unforeseen discoveries, sharing his findings as he went.
I have more estrogen than the average male.
Shortly after this alleged fart, Nova made this post.
I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all. My hygiene's a total problem. Sorry if I look a little off, I just got kind of done with crying because I know how big of a problem this is.
Okay, how much of this video is going to be dedicated to like this fart? I wonder. Whoops. I didn't mean to skip that far ahead.
I'm going to update you on how I'm doing on my showers, and this is the start of a new me. I will actually stick to this time.
It may be the case that my bar is so horribly low from covering lolcows who have bed bugs eating into their brain.
If I saw Danky in public, I'd avoid going to him because I think I'd make a fool out of myself. Yeah, because what you don't know is that every time someone says hello to me or approaches me in public, I start doing live commentary video stuff, just in person to the person approaching me.
Or walk around for months with a used fleshlight in their backpack. But to me, this sounds like a major character development for Nova. After months of his continued downward spiral, an ember of hope glimmered in the black void of the Novine universe. For the first time in what, years? He's actually owning up to his absolute incompetence at something basic like hygiene. It is a bit silly that he's only capable of improving his life by constantly recording himself doing each step of it, but hey, improvement is improvement.
Is it silly? I don't know. I don't know if silly's the right word. It might just be abnormal. So, I mean, whatever it takes to improve yourself, really, it's not really you can't really blame someone for that. I took some like before pictures recently because I really want to look in. I want to look in sort of fitness and health wise for the next like 6 months or whatever. And I've got like ways of keeping myself accountable there. I don't need to publicize every step of that though because I've gotten quite good at pushing, I guess. However, there might have been a point in my life, or for many other people, that might believe like I need to start a little channel here or something, or keep myself accountable in other ways. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with if you feel as though, I don't know, there's just nothing wrong with this. If you struggle with personal hygiene and you feel as though this is going to help you, then fucking go for it. More power to you.
Take it.
Thank you very much, Orange Bell Peppers, for the membership.
For the next couple of months, he actually stuck to it and was frequently showering, even if he occasionally failed to keep up his routine and missed a few days.
I don't know if you can tell, but I've lost my motivation to shower, and I find comfort in eating.
That's why I'm so fat.
Listen, at least he was still trying, and he retained some of his self-awareness during his failure. He eventually toned down the live documentation of himself in the shower due to his mom asking him to stop, and right around the same time, something else creeped up. Although it wasn't noticeable for the longest time, in December of 2025, Nova made a post announcing that after having started the year at a whopping 280 pounds, he was ending it at 220. A 60-pound weight loss over the course of a year is nothing to scoff at, and it's pretty reasonable and realistic for someone of Nova's size. However, people began doubting that this loss was achieved naturally, since it didn't look like Nova had become particularly careful with what he ate during any part of that year. The videos of him eating slop barreled on like nothing had ever happened.
Yeah, but we don't know what's going on outside of his, like, outside the videos, or if he's walking, or I'm pretty sure there are videos of him in the gym as well. And also he's stressed to fuck.
So naturally, people concluded in one assumption: Ozempic.
Thank you very much, Star Baby, for the membership. I don't think that's reasonable at all. Unless there's, like, actual evidence for him being on Ozempic, I think that's crazy.
Nova tried to dispel these claims by showing himself getting weight.
You can eat shit food and still lose weight.
In at his doctor's office.
Also, yeah, there's no way he's affording Ozempic. Are you kidding me?
But this is him acting as if people were just accusing him of pulling a Wings of Redemption and straight up lying about how much he weighed, when that really wasn't the focus of the skepticism. It was that he was using a weight loss drug. Additionally, him being at his doctor's actually reinforces the idea that maybe he did have a health issue, and as a result, he was prescribed something that was helping him shed that weight, all while he still ate goy slop. But ultimately, he was still losing the weight, and fortunately for people who followed to laugh at him, he continued to be as cringeworthy as ever. In the rare cases that these internet punching bags actually do show some sign of improvement, they typically do so while stepping away from the limelight. But in this case, it looks like the best of both worlds. Nova was handling his life better overall, and he was still making content with—
Thank you so much, Local Tabby, for the membership. Jesus, you guys are showing out with all the memberships, man. It's really, really cool to see. Thank you.
Which is his favorite thing to do. Could this story actually have a good ending? Of course not. It was far too good to be true. In late February of 2026, Twitter user Kells_143 made a thread exposing that Nova was tied to yet another Discord server. Given his reputation with these, there was just no way that this was good news. According to Kells, one of the mods, Defender, was accused by an acquaintance of his of extorting minors into self-harm. Another person, Lucky, is said to be the co-owner of the server, and in a screenshot, he's—
Jesus, sorry, what? I manipulated 3 female to involve with UTTR, one of the mod Defender. Oh, one of the mods, okay, not Nova.
One of the mods Defend with these, exposing that Nova was tied to yet another. According to Kells, one of the mods Defender, I'll be greeted by 70 Shodas. If you're mentally well enough to not know what that is, it's basically referring to little boys. If that weren't enough—
Yeah, so it goes like Lolly and then Shota. So Lolly is like a little girl and Shota's a little boy from what I'm aware. I hate that I know that, but—
YouTuber Bloodspeth claimed that the server's rules allowed for no maps to post there. No maps being non-offending minor attracted persons. So essentially predators who haven't acted on their desires yet. Perhaps—
Maybe that's true, but if the only evidence you have for that is that Bloodspeth said it, then I don't know if I am willing to take it without a huge grain of salt, to be honest.
Most concerning of all of this is that besides the aforementioned mods, one of the most prominent members of the server is named Alice, described as a chronically online 17-year-old fangirl of Nova's who can be seen saying all sorts of vile and disgusting things in the server, like having Nova change her pad. Additionally, she could be seen in a private voice chat with him called Alice's Pink Bedroom, and could be seen saying that she rocked him to sleep. In another set of messages, she can be seen saying that she needs money so she can go see Nova in real life. While all of these people seem to be pretty unwell in their own right, the biggest takeaway is that it's a sideshow of freaks who want to barnacle onto Nova because that's the only way they'll get talked about online. Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Nova online, but it's important to note that all of these things said about the Discord members are allegations, the veracity of which I can't attest to, even if these people seem to be nasty. On top of that, their actual connection to Nova is mostly limited to them being attention-seeking enablers of his who are just—
This is all facts, by the way. No, this is all facts. Is that not what Turkey Tom is doing? No, Turkey Tom is covering the story like I am. Like, if Turkey Tom's guilty of this, then so am I. Which, if you think I am, that's fine as well. But, unfortunately, I think the people are sort of the people who are acting like weirdos on this Discord or saying all this unhinged shit are doing it so that people like me and Turkey Tom can make videos talking about them because they have this weird fucking thirst for attention by any means necessary.
Taking advantage of how irresponsible and socially needy he is. Even then, Nova eventually—
God damn! Thank you so much, Castaway Co, for the 5 gifted, and Miss Evo at the same time for buying membership. Both at the same time. God! You guys are the best. Thank you.
Says that it was a bad idea to open another server and expresses that he wants to shut it down and tells everyone to leave. Knowing him, if he does disassociate from these people, it's only a matter of time before he fires up another server and the cycle continues because he just can't help himself. He always comes back, and the sad, disturbing part of it is he comes back because he needs people who will engage with him in his roleplay. Usually, I reserve disclaimers for topics that involve death, but honestly, this next thing is so bizarre that I think it merits some degree of warning, so viewer discretion is advised. We are about to get into what has been coined the Nova Files. In the middle of February 2026, Nova detractors Chin Universe, Solidus Nova, Bloodspeth, and Purity Sin all came together to post a video that was allegedly taken by a 14-year-old girl, with whom Nova was on a video call role-playing as a baby. The voice you'll hear in the video that's not Nova is actually a voiceover by Purity Sin, as the person who recorded the video didn't want their identity attached to it in any way. In it, Nova can be seen pretending to be a toddler and hugging stuffed animals.
I have a question.
Yeah?
How much are diapers on Little for Big?
Depends on which ones you buy.
Are they comfy?
Nova
Thank you so much for the gifted Castaway Cove.
Says he wishes he could be wearing wet diapers every day, but that it would be too expensive as he would have to continually buy them, which he can't afford. The concept of a guy doing this with a 14-year-old girl truly feels like something you would only find on the dark web.
You do really cute, ooh-woo. Ooh-woo?
This was just the first of 5 episodes of the Nova Files. In the second one, which is also a video call between Nova and this girl, he actually takes his phone and points it at his crotch while wearing diapers to show it off. All while this girl is referring to him as baby girl. As disturbing as this stuff is, there's very little to extract from it as far as information, as most of the uploads are basically repeats of the first one. Strangely enough though, there is one exception. The end of episode 4 of the Files, during which the girl Nova is talking to fakes a seizure, and Nova just stares for minutes straight. Listen, you can have a mental breakdown, a seizure, or a heart attack all you want. When the baby is in his diaper, you sit your white ass down and you listen. But this was just the beginning of Nova's ultimate humiliation. Around February of
Brospeth is like a combination channel from what I'm aware of Bloodspeth and some other Lolcow weirdos.
2026, Nova could be heard complaining about being catfished.
I'm not in a good mood because I got catfished. No, I'm not okay. I haven't been okay for a long time. I've just been hiding it.
As far as I can tell, he never elaborated with the specifics of who catfished him or anything else about it really. But due to the kind of degenerates that were in that Discord server with him, many people began to speculate that Nova had fallen into some kind of blackmail trap where he was under threat of having his nudes posted.
Who fakes a seizure to see how he responds. Well, yeah, the girl's 14 though. I guess it might be important the 14-year-old is like deliberately trying to entrap him, but they are 14 years old, so I find it a little difficult to shit on them.
These suspicions only grew as Nova made an ominous post.
Lazy commentary on that section, what the fuck, there was so much to analyze. Really? I mean, I'm watching disgusting shit happen. I don't know exactly what you want me to say. And the stuff I do have to say you wouldn't like. Like, I find it incredibly depressing going from looking at the wee kid who just loves YouTubers and wants to be a YouTuber when he was a kid, into the, you know, the grown, well, into the adult that we are seeing now engaging this inappropriately and awfully with a 14-year-old girl. I think that the way that you've, the road from, you know, we aspiring YouTuber to that is really depressing and sad.
His YouTube channel. If this is my last—
Doesn't make it any less disgusting, but it's both depressing and disgusting at the same time.
Last post, I am dead. Expect that if I don't respond within 24 hours. A few people who saw this were actually worried about Nova. A lot of others weren't too concerned given the fact that he's been threatening to do something like this for years. But after a few weeks of no significant developments, something finally happened. But honestly, I I really wish it hadn't. People found out that Nova had an account on an adult video website where he had posted a short video of him stimulating himself with a device. I'm gonna refrain going into more detail because I don't want to promote this account, but the name of it was a direct reference to Nova's usual online handle, and he could be heard commenting on what was happening throughout the entire thing. And apparently his room, and consequently the horde, was also visible in the video. Visible enough to be recognized.
Genuinely sorry, but how do we know this is definitely a 14-year-old girl instead of someone just saying it? I guess we just don't. But I'll take their word for it.
Visible as him. I'm saying
it's a good question though.
Apparently, because I didn't actually watch this video, I'm never going to look at this video, and neither should you. What I can tell you is that...
Yeah, I don't like that we move so quickly past it. I want to know, like... There's things that I wish I knew. Like, I would like to know if he knew the age of the girl. I'd like to know... Thank you so much, CC Suarez, for the $50. Jesus, thank you. Appreciate the love, man. There's definitely some mutual appreciation there, I think. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I feel like we moved on from that section a bit too quickly. Like, I feel like there is some really important information in terms of, like, did he know that this girl was 14? If he did know, did he specifically seek them out because they're 14? How did they even meet? Was it from the Discord? Did the Lolcow YouTubers have any say or any part in, like, trying to create this situation to trap him, or was this just something that they found or someone came to them with? I don't know. Obviously, the actual what happened there itself is grim, pretty much no matter what, but those factors, I think, matter in terms of whether or not, like, if you want to prescribe something criminal or pedophilic or predatory to the exchange there. But we didn't really get many answers to those questions. Maybe I'll watch the entirety of the Nova files at some point next time. I don't know. Or maybe we'll have to look at Bloodspeth's coverage of it. But not today.
The description of the video said he was taking a break from watching South Park, and his account's bio lists his relationship status as taken. As this stuff became public knowledge, the first assumption...
Thank you so much, Fear, for the $5.
...was that Nova was either hacked, or he was blackmailed into posting this video. However, instead of even suggesting anything to that effect, Nova stayed radio silent on all ends, except on his Telegram, where he didn't address the video directly, but instead addressed what he says are its consequences. Mom just got sent to the ER. She has too much stress. It was the trolls. One of my detractors, Purity, has accounts on adult websites too, but of course nobody mentions that. I strongly doubt that any troll activity is responsible for Nova's mom's health, and I find it much more likely that this is him blaming something unrelated on the trolls to...
Did Nova know it was a minor? I don't know. It's a very important question that I don't know. He says that he got catfished. Again, though, I don't know how true that is.
Try and guilt trip people into not making fun of him. Obviously, this wasn't very effective, as people noticed he had been desperately deleting comments from his TikTok referencing the video in any way. Soon enough, the video had already been taken down for a violation of the terms and conditions, which probably means it was mass reported. When you take his Telegram messages into consideration, it leads me to think that this was actually done of Nova's own volition. For a long time now, he's been making offhand mentions of how he's financially desperate or how he may need to do an OnlyFans. But the thing is, he's never actually been super strapped for cash. Sure, he complains about not having money, but somehow he always has a bunch of TikTok shop trash showing up at his house, fast food. I mean, even his pacifiers and his diapers, the money has to come from somewhere. On his TikTok, he made a very vague post, where in the description of a video where he lumbers into the frame before lazily making anime poses, he wrote this: "You know who you are," not naming names for their safety.
Cheers for the 99 cents, Noir
But I'm thoroughly pissed at them for what they did. The upload following this one was apparently an old draft that he had recorded sometime prior, so it had nothing to do with the unfolding drama. Following that was a cringy video where he lip syncs to an audio talking about revenge.
Truth will ultimately prevail. But there is pain bringing it to light.
And in the comments, when asked about what happened, he said, "Ultimate betrayal by a former friend." After this, however, it doesn't seem like he made any further comments on the situation. As humiliating as these videos of him that came out during this time were, they were just that. humiliating. As disgusting as his interests may be, he clearly isn't concerned enough to actually try and keep them out of the public's eye. It's clear to me that he revels.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, he made an adult account on an adult website and posted adult content. If someone leaks that and then children see it, that's not really Nova Online's fault. He didn't really do anything inherently wrong there. It was weird, it was unexpected, but that's not, like, predatory.
And the attention he gets. Or at the very least, he's addicted to it and prefers having it to nobody noticing him at all. Ultimately, as much as he feigns shame and being upset over this entire situation, him being exposed and attacked is also a part of the Nova Online phenomenon, which is why he continues to make silly TikTok videos about revenge. But the Nova files don't actually end here. After the last episode was posted, Bloodspeth uploaded a 3-hour interview with someone who was Nova's friend. Unlike all of the other people who knew him in real life, this wasn't just a superficial acquaintance. This was the closest thing Nova had to an actual friend, as opposed to someone he met on Discord that enabled his degenerate activity. In the interview he gave to Bloodspeth, this guy begins by explaining that he didn't start talking to Nova with the intention of turning around and telling everyone about it, or just to troll him. The two had a genuine friendly relationship that lasted for about 8 months, during which this guy and the rest of his friend group put in a legitimate effort to help Nova lose weight, make some money, clean himself up, and walk away from his Lolcow career. I hope I'm not spoiling it for you when I say that they failed their mission. When asked if Nova actually had the mind of a teenager or suffered from stunted development, the answer he gave was that although Nova was more self-aware than many assumed, he just didn't act on his self-awareness. Even if Nova had an easy time pinpointing the things he did that were bad, he basically couldn't do anything effective to stop himself from engaging in that behavior. But ultimately, Nova's friend couldn't tell if
I've dropped my earphones, now I literally can't hear anything. My fucking hair's stuck in the earphone.
this was because of some cognitive limitation or manipulative malice, because he could also be feigning self-awareness just to please people so that he can go right back to doing what he wants to do, which Nova also seemed to have a tendency to do. In this interview, Nova is based.
At what point is Bloodspeth just outright harassing Nova? Like, at what point is it not journalism anymore? No, Bloodspeth is absolutely harassing Nova. I'm not sure if it's from this interview. I'm not sure if this counts as harassment, but he constantly calls him. He has his number and he calls him constantly on stream. I think after our debate, he called him like 20 times, which is harassment.
Described.
But he keeps being denied, so stop fucking calling him. That's really, really weird behavior, dude.
As mostly staying quiet and actually agreeing whenever someone pointed out an issue of his, basically just waiting for them to stop talking without engaging meaningfully with what they were saying. One of the issues they butted heads over a lot was his hygiene.
Was it really that bad?
Yeah, and I'm a big honesty guy. I don't like exaggeration just because I think it takes away from, like, you know, people who are actually just trying to understand, you know, something or someone. So I'm not exaggerating when I say you can smell him from like 5 feet away. It's not exactly cat pee, but it's like half cat.
Journalism starts to be harassment when you're doing it without a purpose. Calling someone multiple times after they have told you to stop or express no interest in speaking with you is harassment. Yeah, absolutely. It's like textbook harassment.
Pee half ammonia, but like both of them cranked up, so it doesn't really smell like either. It's like its own thing, kind of. I had been hounding him on his hygiene for basically our whole relationship.
Would Bloodspeth's behavior towards Nova be classed as parasocial? Sorry if it's a dumb question. No, that's a great question. That's actually a very high IQ, deep question there. Absolutely, it's parasocial. And it's so funny because people like Bloodspeth and Pooh Boy are the ones who criticize parasocial relationships, and they'll make fun of Tyler Catastrophe, for example, for his parasocial relationship and obsession with Wilbur Soot. But they are just as parasocial, if not more, and they are just as obsessed, if not more, with the lolcows like Tafia Chu and Nova Online that they cover. It is some of the most parasocial shit that I have ever seen online.
I was really hounding on it for like a couple.
That's not a dumb question at all. That's like a very fucking good question.
Weeks prior to that, the shower saga starting, and that was due to the fact that we started I think it was just we hung out with him like 2 or 3 times within like a month. I ended up calling him and like right when I woke up, and he picked up and we talked for like an hour, and I basically just said like, dude, everyone in the comments of this video is saying like you're gross. Like,
imagine if Bloodspeth is watching your stream right now. I mean, I think there's some things he needs to hear, like stop calling this fucking guy 20 times in a row.
you're greasy, like your house is a mess. And I'm like, can you say any of those comments are even wrong? I understand you read them and you don't like them. You need to actually internalize, like, why are they saying these things? And then, like, look at yourself and your surroundings, and you'll probably come to the conclusion, like, oh, all these people are right.
By the end of their call, Nova was crying while his friend offered him what I can only describe as shower incentives. This guy actually proposed buying Nova a Bluetooth speaker just so he would shower. And of course, that's when Nova's ears perked up. Only the possibility of getting more trinkets to add to the hoard can motivate Nova to actually do the bare minimum self-maintenance of a regular human being. Eventually, their conversation came around to these serious allegations about grooming and talking to minors, which have been circling Nova's name for years.
You have figured out by now whether he has a vulnerability, and a vulnerability can mean a lot of different things. Maybe he just really, really loves his kids.
According to Gabriel's friend, he was perfectly capable of pointing out how and why what he did was wrong, but only when imagining someone else, like his detractors, doing it. Despite understanding that those actions have consequences and whoever does them should be held accountable, he maintained that he only engaged in those things to make friends, and now regretted all of that behavior and wasn't ever going to do it again. Of course, even though his friend couldn't have known it at the time, Nova was straight up lying. Lying is actually something he did a lot, but never in a Machiavellian way or to try and make himself look better. More so, he lied to get out of things, to excuse himself from his responsibilities. The example given of Nova's most consistent lying is whenever he was asked about why he hadn't showered or cleaned his environment up.
I don't know. It's like, does it not seem a little bit weird to say that you knew he was like a predator or you knew that he was grooming minors and stuff, but then you were still friends with him for 8 months? Is that not a little odd?
He would just say that he was busy.
Isn't Bloodspeth quite young? Maybe 18? Yeah, Bloodspeth is 18, which is why I'm not, like, too harsh towards him. Like, he's a kid. He'll grow up, I guess. Or I hope so. Will you sing for us? Time and place, dude.
My theory is he's often embarrassed by his lack of activities.
Thank you for the 10 monies, whatever that is, by the way.
So it was very common for him to say, like, oh, I've been really busy cleaning.
It didn't matter if he hadn't showered or cleaned up after himself for days or even weeks, he would boldly claim that he was busy, despite being unemployed and staying indoors all day, doing nothing but streaming on TikTok. When I say nothing, I truly mean nothing, because even small things that are certain to bring him money, like recording cameos, Nova neglects to do.
What is good, y'all? My name is Nova Gage, and I am a TikTok creator. On TikTok, I primarily post food reviews, gym videos, and a whole bunch of other various content.
According to this friend, Nova always had a huge backlog of cameo requests that he just let stack up and expire, as he would rather fire up another TikTok stream to cry about being unemployed and having no money than to just record a 30-second video and actually make some. Ultimately, what this shows us is that money isn't something that even matters to Nova. What matters is attention. He would rather have no money and have people feel bad for him than have some money and have no one care.
I don't think that's like a necessarily unrealistic depiction of Nova's wants and desires, however. I do think that he is a lot more focused on attention than money. I think that's not inappropriate or too much of an assumption, to be honest. I think from what we've seen, that's pretty... that does seem to be pretty accurate.
Nova's friend claimed that Nova was likely diabetic and didn't...
But again, though, I just don't know about this friend. I'd have to watch Bloodspeth's actual interview to see, like, the proof of them being friends, how close they actually were, whether or not he was just trying to weasel his way into Nova's life for a bit of attention, or because he genuinely cared about his, like, greater well-being. I'd like to know if Bloodspeth just found some random, or if they approached him. There's things here that I feel as though I also need to know, you know what I mean?
Control his sugar intake, which makes it almost certain that he was on some kind of Ozempic variant which was causing his weight loss, further cementing that despite his appearance having changed, he was internally still the exact same person. No matter how many trials and tribulations he's been through, Nova seems completely uninterested in changing, despite the fact he's proven himself capable of doing so.
I am capable of changing. All these dishes I just did.
Albeit temporarily.
The guy that tried to do a house cleaning saga but kind of failed on that and is now cleaning his room at his own pace.
If the Nova files are fully legitimate and the girl he was talking to was indeed 14, then I can only hope that Nova's degeneracy doesn't escalate toward him actually harming a minor in real life.
I would hope that regardless, to be honest with you. But the fact that he's not even sure if the girl... That means I guess there is no evidence that the girl is 14. And if there's no evidence the girl's 14, there's definitely no evidence that he knew the girl was 14. And then there's no... Yeah, there's just too many unknowns here, I guess.
Worst case scenario, Uncle Drew's spirit will make a prophetic visit to Nova's mom, and she will see.
But again, regardless, it's grim. Like, I'm not saying it's good. It's fucking disgusting. It's just a matter of how disgusting or how criminal or how immoral it is that it's difficult to prescribe to a T.
The light and then send him somewhere he can't use electronics. I think that is undoubtedly the best case scenario for someone like him. Until then, we can only pray that no other kids make the mistake of joining one of his Discord servers. Maybe there is a very, very small chance that he's gonna change, but at this point, I've honestly lost faith in him, and frankly, I'm getting a little too old to care what this guy does with his time. It's over. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and it's
Okay. Pretty good video, I think, from Turkey Tom there. Obviously, as always, some things that I disagree with a little bit, but overall, I feel like it was a pretty good chronology. Once again, to be honest, the way that Bloodspeth spoke about Nova Online in the interview, and the fact that I didn't immediately say that they're the worst fucking pedophile on the planet, apparently made me some, like, fucking defender of pedophilia, some horrible fucking bastard. I was expecting a lot worse. I was expecting a lot more, like, definitive, here is proof that Nova Online is interested in children, but, we got, like, some potential stuff there that he's, like, a real danger. However, nothing definitive, in my opinion, that he's, like, attracted to minors and actively seeking out minors to, like, to prey on or anything, if that makes sense. Absolutely, though, he does seem to be, like, a huge perv. He does seem to be fucking disgusting, and he should not be online. It's the same prescription that I give to every other Lolcow, same prescription that I gave to Fibs as well. It's just grim. Very unfortunate. But I think that's I think Nova Online is someone we'll cover a bit more on these streams, because there's no way this is like the only bit of Nova Online lore that that has surfaced over the last few months. But for now, I think we'll call it there, Nova Online wise.